Good morning, sweet friends. I am Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to find me. It is Saturday, November 2nd. I look down my journal. The journal for that. Saturday, November 2nd. Can't believe it's November already. All right, I'm going to start with prayer. Thank you for another amazing week. Lord, please come into our hearts, come into our minds, and open us to finding a path to serve you better, love you better, serve each other, love each other better, be great vessels to your amazing work, and give us strength to get through another week. Give us strength to be mindful and intentional, and to allow the Holy Spirit to just protect us and move us, and so that we can do and be everything that you intended us to be, that you created us to be. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, this is part 2 of the High Performance Habits book review. I guess it's a book review. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it because I just finished it, and it is so good. I'm actually taking being on Brendon Burchard's email list. He's doing something with Transformation Week, and it actually just basically infuses those 6 habits, and a little bit more in depth on it, like an immersion course kind of to it. So last week we discussed the first 3 habits out of the 6 habits that he says high performers all do all the time. And so the first one is to seek clarity. Remember, I challenged you guys to take the time to write out, to sit, take an hour or whatever that you have last week to sit down and really think about what it is you want out of your life. Like, imagine yourself 10 years from now. What is this dream life that you want to have, to be, to pursue, to, you know what I mean? Like, what is this final outcome 10 years from now? What does that look like? And the clearer you get, like the more crystal clear you get on that vision of your best self 10 years from now, to write that down, and to physically write that down, like what everything you see. No judgment, no wondering how it's going to be done, no like wondering this is absurd, like no editing, no filtering, just write it down, get it on paper, do what is it that you want for your life 10 years from now. And the clearer you get, the better you have a roadmap of where you need to go. If like remember the example I said, if you're going to go drive across country, you need an exact address. If you don't have an exact address of where you're going to land, you won't know how to get there, or what direction you're going. So you need to have to be clear about that. So high performers, they're very clear. Good morning, Ellie. So glad you've joined. So seek clarity was the first habit. And then second habit we discussed last week was generate energy. And people, we like to think that we have energy. I always said it. And now after this book, I look at energy very differently. We don't have it. We make it. You know what I mean? We make energy. Our bodies are made to make this powerful thing. Like, you sit in inertia and then you make energy. And then the more energy you have, like energy, you just keep going and going, right? So I was like, maybe that's where my lazy comes from, is because I keep waiting for when I can have energy to do something, when you're like, no, high performers aren't, they don't have energy, they make energy. We make energy. So if we sit here and wait to have energy, we will never have it because we didn't make it. You have to generate first. So I was like, that is a very powerful concept. And I was like, ever since then, like now I'm like, when I think about like me wanting to do something, I'm always like waiting. Like my first instinct, my habit is to wait for it to happen. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen because I'm not going to wait to have energy. I have to make energy to have energy. Good morning, Kathy from Butler, PA. Hey, speaking, I'm glad you're here from Pennsylvania. I wanted to talk a little bit about that after we get through the high performances. Voting day is on Tuesday. And Pennsylvania gets its voting on something called Mercy's Law, which I literally just heard about it last night, and I'm starting to research it, and I will get versed by Tuesday so that I know what I'm voting for come Tuesday, because Pennsylvania is voting on that for the state. And so I highly recommend that you investigate it, research this law. It's supposed to give victims more rights, but like all things, we have to know, like, remember these laws, they put really beautiful positive spins on it, these politicians, Republicans and Democrats. I'm not one way or another, but they like to, like everything, we like to spin it, like just like socialism and communism. Oh, it's peace for everybody, so that we all are equal and so that we all have everything. We take from the one to give to the other so that we're all even. And they hand it out to you in this utopia world when it's stealing. If you're taking from somebody to give to another, you've stolen from one to the other. It's like, but they'll package it really sweet. So that's why I wanted to do some research on this Mercy's Law for victims' rights. Like, what does that mean? I'm like, I thought everybody had rights. We all have equal rights. If we give one person one more, so because I think on the surface or in the back end of it, if you give victims rights, more rights, the victims can withhold evidence to suit them. I'm like, what does that mean? How do you withhold evidence? Yeah, that's what my husband's like. He saw that, but he didn't research it. And then my model brought it up to him. I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean like if I say somebody raped me, does that mean I have more rights now? I don't need to have proof that somebody raped me. I can just have a vendetta against somebody, and they can, you know what I mean? I don't need to have proof now. I can just say it, and then I'll have more rights than the person who I'm gonna basically ruin their lives on. Like that's what I don't understand. So I have to do some research on that. You have to understand, like, when politicians do something, it's like, what? That's what I thought. That's what I was like. That's what I had a feeling. That's what it meant. Like, how do you have more rights than the other? Like, justice is either justice. If it's not true for one person, it's not true for all. Like it's. I thought that was the case. So, Kathy, about that. So I was like, when they said victims more rights, I'm like, does that mean you just have the power to say and do anything, and then you don't need evidence? I'm a big proponent of evidence, because trial by innocent, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. That is a big thing, because in my 41 long life on this earth, my 41-year experience being on this earth, human beings lie. Human beings lie, and we are sinners. That's why we look to God. That's why we look to, so yeah. But we can let's pin that, Kathy. Let's pin that. I do want to talk a little bit about Election Day. So but that's why we're here, right? That's why we meet every week, so we can chat about what's going on. And so I want to finish off the last 6 of the high performance. So we talked about last week, seek clarity. These high performers, every single one of them, they seek clarity. They're constantly about it. Like they have their dreams on the forefront. They know exactly what they're going for, and so they constantly pursue it, because no goals, no growth, no clarity, no change. Remember, that was the first one. And generate energy. So they make energy. They choose to be positive. They cultivate joy. They set intentions, and are you guys using your release mantras? Because my release mantras I use all the time when I'm sitting. Honestly, like, this is my new habit. When I'm sitting there in the bathroom to pee, like, because I do it 24/7, because I drink a lot of water all the time, because I'm constantly hydrated. So as soon as I sit on that toilet, the first thing I say is release stress, release tension, and I could feel my back. I don't have the hardest life. I don't have the hardest life. I'm a very blessed individual. And the hardships that I put on myself are the challenges that I put on myself, because I want to be better. I want to pursue more. I want to live. I want to have more than what I have, whatever that looks like for me. So that's going to cause a little stress. That's going to cause a little tension, because I want to do things that, you know what I mean, are above and beyond what I'm already at. So I find my shoulders like really, like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, what am I stressed about? So I'm constantly remembering to do that release mantra, release stress, release tension, release anxiety, release envy, release whatever negativity I was feeling at that minute, that second. I tell myself to release it, and I immediately feel better. And then the third part was to raise necessity, to make your dreams an obsession, to go deep in your PFI. I wrote it somewhere what PFI was. Oh, your primary field of interest, because we're made for more, we're called for more. And so we raise our necessity. Like a lot of people do a mortality thing where, we're on this earth with so amount of time. And once that door is shut, it's shut permanently. So when we go, we go. So we have to give our one life that we get our all, and that is so raise necessity. We can one of my raised necessities was that I told my dad I was going to sell my stuff online. I wanted to create and put my stuff online, and then he passed 4 months later from me making that announcement. And so my raised necessity was the fact that was the last thing I told my dad I was going to do. So many times I wanted to quit this. So many times I wanted to stop pursuing this online world. So many times I wanted to stop pursuing my craft and just put it all away, because it's hard. It's hard having an Etsy shop. It's hard. It's hard going to YouTube and motivating people. And it's hard, it's hard being open about myself when I'm a very private introvert, It's hard about sharing difficulties, So I'm always like wanting to just give it up and just be done with. Lips, calm down. I got my water today. Calm down. Liberty, that's enough. Calm down. I'm not letting you out. I'm not doing anything. You guys, they were out twice before I went live. I know it's funny, quick funny story. So if you watched last video, I don't know what Liberty was whining about the whole time. And so I was like re-listening to my life, and as I was doing it, Indy was listening, and he's like, who is this dog? And his ear kept like turning like to the phone. He's like, who's whining, who's crying? It was so funny. And I'm like, it's you guys, goose. Lib, that's enough. So number 4, ready? So we're at part 2. We're at number 4. Increase productivity. High performance, they increase their productivity. They are like ninjas of producers. And I can listen to this section over and over and over and over and over again, because trying to be more productive has been like something that I've been trying to pursue, but I get stuck in this procrastinating world that I live in. I'm a recovering. Oh, that's what it is. He found the red ball. Liberty, you found the red ball. Oh my God. Hold on, sorry guys. These have been missing forever, and like, oh my God, John's gonna be so happy when he sees Liberty finally found it. It got stuck in between my little basket in there. That's what he's crying about. I think Indy got both of them in his mouth. You know how he did that. Oh my God, John's gonna be so thrilled when he sees that. We really gave that up. We thought it went to the neighbor's yard and we were never gonna see it again. We thought it got lost outside because we were like determined it's definitely not in this house. I thought I turned it upside down. Um, all right, so increased productivity is a huge thing. It's so I'm always feeling like I'm not productive enough. And with Netflix, it's even a bigger challenge. So I can listen to this over and over again. So the notes that I took for it is this PQO. It's prolific quality output. Basically, when you're producing something, I guess you want to do things that you move the needle in your life, that you focus on that. And high performers, they focus on that. They're not doing the little nitty gritty to-dos and taking things off their list that don't matter. No, they're focused on the 3 big things that they need to do that day to accomplish things that move their needle. So for me, it is these patterns that I keep procrastinating on, but I'll do other little things to check off for the VK shop. But until I like knock out Mary and Phoebe, like those are my 2 big things. And until I like work on that, this is why I'm not a high performer like all those high performers. Prolific quality output. So, and take breaks every 15 minutes was one of his suggestions because, or every 50 minutes. So if you're sitting doing one thing, you need to get up and move your body every 50 minutes to basically rest your brain, rest your physical, rest your hips, rest your, if you're sitting and if you're standing, then if you're on your feet for 50 minutes, then sit down for 5 minutes or something like that. Basically do the opposite and take the breaks that you need. Progressive mastery. I don't know what these notes are. He has a list of 10. Progressive mastery is determine a skill to master. Number 2 is set specific stretch goals, developing that skill. 3 is attach high level meanings to the journey and results. 4, identify factors critical to improvements. 5, develop visualizations for mastery and failures that look alike. 6, schedule challenges. 7, measure. 8, compete with others. 9, track progress and fix weaknesses. And 10, teach others. I like that one because that's actually what I'm doing. I just heard the book. I just read the notes. Like I got the book from the library. I actually got a free copy that's coming in the mail, which is how I got the immersion course with it. So, because I really, really love this book. This is a really tactical book. It's a good manual. It's actually what has inspired me for my book in 2020 that I will be writing and pursuing, is because I wanted to do something like this, but for makers and for creatives. I wanted to write, like, I've read 20 books this year on self-development, and I want to take everything that I've learned and acknowledge and the things I'm trying to use and share and infuse with you guys and see what would help you, help me, help, you know what I mean? Makers and creatives. Like, I wanted to get it out into a book of my own. So if I leave this world next year, I will at least have this as my legacy that I wanted to impart. And then I'll be like, okay, God, I'm ready. If I finish this book, I'll be like, I'm ready. You can take me, but don't take me before that. 5, the fifth habit is develop influence. And this one's a good one because it's all high performers, they all figure out ways to, if you're not able to help others, there's no point in helping yourself. I don't know how to word this without, you know what I mean? Like, I could do this stuff. Like, I can read these 20 books to grow myself, to be the best version of myself. But it's like if you, like, if I found a formula, I have a problem, I found a solution. If I just kept the solution to myself and not share the solution and just watch other people struggling with the same problem And I just kept the solution to myself. Like, what does that do? That doesn't serve anybody. And it certainly doesn't serve me. It holds me back. You know, it's almost like I think we human beings are a collective. Like, God didn't make us as individuals. God made us to be in community, to help one another, to serve one another, to be of service for each other. And that's where this whole, like, develop influence and figure out ways to do that. So if you know a solution, share the solution, but it's not just about sharing the solution, it's about trying to help people figure that out too, that they need help. And so one of the things he's always like, ask what people want, ask what, and then give them what they want. Like, be giving to them, and give more of yourself to them. Turn adversaries into good time. Issue offers to motivate them to excel positively. Be a role model for others. In the immersion course that they have this transformation week, under influence, there were 6 suggestions that they said. Be intentional with your relationships. I love that. I think 2020 is I'm gonna try to bring it back, because I wanted one of the years, I remember, I think 2018 may have been the year for be intentional. Like, I think that's been my goal forever. Is I live day to day to day to day. Before I knew it, 6 months goes by. I have no idea what the heck happened, because I wasn't intentional. I'm not intentional with my life. I'm not intentional with my decisions. And these weekly lives, me doing these on Saturdays, like, it's helping me stay intentional. This bullet journal is full out, all intention. I'm living fully intentional. I've never been more intentional in my life than in October 2019, when I used this bullet journal. I engage with it 24/7. My decisions are intentional here. Everything that I've put in here, I've like thought about. I've had to reflect. I've had to stew. I've planned. I've done things. I've you know what I mean? Like, this was October has been my most intentional year in my 41 years on this earth, hands down. And it feels amazing. So amazing that's how I knew what I wanted out of 2020. And I knew it quickly. So I've always talked about, like, next year, ever since the Ravelry video, I'm like, next year I'm gonna write my parents' story about how we came to America. I'm gonna write that story, that fictional story of us escaping our communist country. And I was like, because I've been wanting to do that story for a long time. It's been in my heart forever. And since I learned about it, and I didn't learn about it until about 6 years ago, that we were in refugee camps for 4 years. And I knew we escaped. I knew we were going back. I knew, you know what I mean? I knew it was bad. And my dad's like, I spent my whole time, we sacrificed our lives to get out of there. I would not go back to visit. Like, I knew all that, but I didn't know that we were even in refugee camp for 4 years. I didn't know that. I just thought we left and came to America. I magically thought that's what would happen, but no, there was a lot of struggles in between there. And my parents sheltered us from that. But I wanted to share that story. But last week, when I had just finished that book, and I just or actually I wasn't even fully finished, and I'm being intentional. I'm like engaging with it, and it hit me that I was like, next year I need to write a nonfiction. I need to write a nonfiction of all this that I've known, of this 5 years of being immersed in this Dare to Be Original community, in the Facebook group, to see all these makers that I told you, like, I have an Etsy shop that you guys don't even know I sell. Half the time I'm here, you guys are wondering, like, why are we listening to her? Like, why does she have this YouTube channel? It is ultimately to promote my Etsy shop. But you've never once heard it. Like, because I found myself not actually my ideal customer. I found my ideal customer, or my ideal clientele, like my ideal, like, passion is not towards getting people to buy my handmade good. It turns out I find myself talking with creatives and keeping them to create, and motivating them to create, and helping them to not be afraid of what their potential is, so that they pursue their best life as I'm trying to pursue my best life. And I'm showing it, and I'm doing it as what are you doing? Did your brother get that red ball from you? Did you lose it to Liberty? And I use him up, and he's like, "Mommy, get that red ball from me." And Liberty took it from me. That's what he's saying. Like, Liberty's took my red ball. Go get it back. No, you gotta represent yourself, buddy. You're a big boy now. You're 2 years old. Here, get some water. That'll bring you some courage. He's like, I come for help and you spray me. So I found like I'm like that's why I was like that's where my book's gotta be. That's where I gotta put my energy in. Robbie, what are you doing? All right. So let's continue. So the things that they said for being an influence, high performers are good influencers, being that they're intentional with your relationships. Listen, listen. That's a part of the 7 habits of highly effective people is listen before you speak. Oh my God, Indy, you're strong. Get out of here. That's enough. Okay, this is why you can't be kind. You have to be forceful. You can't. He really wants that red ball. Reinforce your requestments. Repeat, repeat, repeat. If you're constantly in, like, you have to say the same thing over and over and over again. Leaders have to say the same thing over and over again. Just like husband and wives, any relationship, you have to say the same. Okay, the battle is underneath this table. You guys, come on. I just want one live that's soundproof. Lead, make doable, inspire confidence, and encourage people. Challenge others to be better and be a role model. I like that one. The challenge others to be better. Did you see my latest quote? My latest post on Instagram. I have been intentionally off of social media the past month or so. I think. Just because I wanted a break, I wanted to focus on my health. I wanted to focus on the bullet journal. I wanted to focus on the last 90 days to make these 5 great habits, to 5 to thrive habits, so I can start the next year like strong and good. So one of the things that I set behind was I kept Netflix on my top priority, so I made social media my low priority. So, but in November, I wanted to be more intentional about my posts. I want to post at least once a day. So today's post, I wrote, whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Take ownership of your life and your decisions doesn't make you, taking ownership of your life and your decisions doesn't just make you responsible, it gives you tremendous power. Power to choose better. Better in capital letters, by the way. Whatever better looks like for you, choose it and follow through on it. Believe in yourself. I do. I believe in you. Okay, that's enough. What are you doing? Stop. Stop. Good golly. They are expending my energy. Whatever you are not changing, you're choosing. I had that in my, I don't know if I heard it. I don't know if it came up to me, but I wrote it down. And so I wrote it down and I was like, oh, this is a gem. I'll use it sometime. And so when I was like, oh, I got to post something today, I found that and I was like, whatever I'm not changing, I am choosing. We are autonomous beings. Can I get an amen on that? We have control. We have 100% control of our lives. We do. Each and every one of us. John does not control me. He doesn't tell me when to wake up and when to go to bed. From the moment I get up to the moment I go to sleep, that is my decision. I made those choices. Everything that accumulates from that, those are my choices. Not my parents. They're not my kids. We like to blame everything on our outside world, not my politicians, not the news, not the, what we do. It's up to us. We make that choice. And if we choose not to change something, if we don't like something and we don't change it, then we chose it. This whole table is going to lift up. What is going on here? What the heck? Yo. I need to give myself some grace. These dogs are. Maybe I shouldn't have given them. I should have just taken that red ball and not embrace it. Don't break it, Liberty. Don't break it, because Daddy's gonna be mad if you break it. He didn't even see it come back to life yet. So, what are you guys working on this week? I know Ellie's working on her Etsy shop. So, what are you guys working on this week? Kathy, how's your health quest doing? You still working out? How's Eccentrics? Are you the one that signed up for Eccentrics? I still love Eccentrics, by the way. I need to get better with working out this week. I've been I had to take my mother-in-law to Will's Eye this week on Thursday. I left work early on Thursday, and we went and stayed in a hotel Thursday night and for her appointment on Friday, and that was an all day. So I've been like traveling for 2 days, and it's like 2.5 hours long drive from my house to Philly. But with the storm, it ended up being like a 4-hour drive to Philly, and so I was like beat. Dry erase board on weekends. What have you accomplished? Write it down so they have a visual. Oh, that's how you're teaching your kids to be more intentional. That's awesome. That's awesome. We have a whiteboard in the kitchen for John and I to communicate. And right now we have what you focus on expands. So that's constantly reminding us, like, are we, if whatever we're working on or whatever we're focused on at this moment, that's what's going to expand. So if we're not in a good state of mind, then that's what's going to expand. If we're not pursuing our best version, that's what's going to expand. So I can't go into the streaming, have to connect eccentric, have to contact eccentrics. You can't get into the streaming. Oh, you have to contact them. That stinks. I know. I hate that. I hate customer service. I hate running into problems. I'm in the same boat where I have to contact my mama's Social Security right now for her, to look into a better healthcare plan, because the healthcare plan right now she can't afford. So I need to come up with something else, which is another thing on my plate. And I'm just like, oh, more phone calls, more research. I'm just like, I'm beat up. Today, my family's going to help our 91-year-old aunt with the yard and housework. Physical work, nice. You know what? I hate yard work, but I always remind myself, I'm like, for the same second that I say I hate yard work, is John will be like, okay, we got to do the yard. And then it's an ordeal and it's physical. And then, you know what? I just look at myself. I just take a deep breath and go, I'm counting it as a workout. Always good to help others, teaching my grandkids. That's a great lesson to teach them. That's great. Y'all, I am working on a sweater, and I got to work on it yesterday at the waiting room a little bit more. I attached the shoulder part, so I have the front all made with the trimming, and I'm working on the back right now, and I attach the shoulders and I put it on. I'm like, oh my god, it's I can't wait. So I have the back to finish, and then I'm going to put the sleeves. I'm going to assemble it and then add the sleeves in my head. I can't believe it. I'm so close to having a fit, like to be able to wear a garment. Like, I always make scarves. I always make things that I can't, that doesn't have to fit. This is going to be like this is going to be my first sweater that I completed. There was one time I tried to knit a sweater, and I think I have 2 panels somewhere, and then I gave it up. You know what it was? It was too green. It got too green. It was going to be the Riddler or something. I think I just gave it up because the color scheme was horrible. But this one, I kept it gray and brown and hunter green. So it's like a color blocking. And I'm using like my best yarns that I had up in that corner of like really fancy wools that I got in a local yarn shop that's about an hour away. And I've saved it forever for a special project, and it turned out it's going to be my sweater. Woohoo! So I was working on that. I'm hoping to get that done. And of course, I have to sit down and film this basket weave for Mary, and then for the Mary pattern, and then be done and finish off so we can give it to the world and share it with you guys. So Ellie, I didn't even get a chance to discuss with you. Did you list the yarn? So send me, when you have the link of your listing for your yarn, you can send me the link, and then I will add that link in my promotions and everything. And I'll link your Etsy shop right on the pattern. So I want to link your shop right to the pattern. All right, so send me that, whatever that looks like. I don't think we want to, unless you want to send me, I don't think you want an exact link, just in case if you change your mind and you no longer want to offer the yarn, if you want to, I think it's better to have variety. So I would just send me the link to your actual Etsy shop. And then this way they can choose and shop in your yarn store when they get the Mary pattern. So that's free advertisement for you, kiddo. So yeah, so send me that link. And then what else? Oh, so Tuesday, election. So we covered Mercy's Law. Did I say that right? Mercy's Law. MERSY''S. Grandson asked me for a blanket. Any suggestions? Knit or crochet? Quick knit or crochet? Do the triple yarn method. Do you know about my? Easy, super easy, Kathy. Look for my triple yarn method. Go into my YouTube channel, search triple yarn method, and you're gonna find a scarf that that uses the triple yarn method. And so basically, it's one skein that you. Let me see, ribbon ending, so I can show you. Oh, here I have an edge. I'll show it to you real quick. Triple yarn method is so you make a Z, right? You see the letter Z? There's the edge right there. So a Z, right? A Z, so it looks like that, right? And then bunch the Z together. So that's 3. Make a knot. Just do a quick knot, little knot, right? So now you have the end over here. There's your knot. This is what you're working on. This is what you're casting on, whether you chain or you do your knit. You could do the triple yarn method crochet wise too, but so there's your, and then cast on, odd number. I believe it's odd number for seed stitch. You know, knit, purl, knit over the pearls, purl over the knit. And so do you see that hole? So you can have this hole right here. So now you take the yarn and then you put it through the loop and you pull it, right? Pull it down for as long as you can, and then you basically cast on. So you're working. So you see how there's triple? So now you've taken one skein and turned it into a triple yarn. That makes it fat. And when you make it fat, it goes quicker. But not only that, it makes it squishy and warm. And if you're going to make a blanket, that's the best way to do it. And then the best part is this triple yarn method lets you, so now you're going to work, and then you're going to come to this loop again. And then what you do is take the yarn, pull it through the loop, and pull more. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And then you just keep working through triple yarn method. You run to the loop again, and then you just pull more. I like to take a second and just go more, you know, for as long as my arm can put it through, you know, and then just keep going like that. And then your skein will run out and you do the same thing all over again. You just put a knot and then just kind of pull it through and like attach it that way. It is amazing. So whenever somebody wants to talk about a quick project, I always do the triple yarn method. And then the best way is, did you ever, so the other way to do this is you have to take 3 skeins of the same color, right? And do it. And then sometimes the skeins don't line up the same, and it's hard to manage 3 balls. You know, they get twisted up and they do all kinds of craziness, and half the time we don't even have 3 skeins of anything. You know what I mean? So that's always like mute. So yeah, try that and do a seed stitch. Seed stitch is easy. Seed stitch is my favorite knit stitch because it's knit the pearls, purl the knits, and it gives you a bump squishy, you know what I mean? And it's nice and soft and it's quick. I like it's a rhythm. It's rhythmic. And I just want to make sure, is it odd or even? It is knit, purl, knit. Knit, purl, knit. It's even. You have to do even. So when you turn around, you go knit, purl, knit. Yeah. So even numbers for seat stitch. And you found your Bujo method. You found your bullet journal method. That's awesome. So I was going to ask you about that. I totally forgot. Ellen started doing the bullet journal. We had a nice meeting and showed her how I did my bullet journal, and it really, really helped me. And so you found your groove. So you're keeping up with it. That's amazing. You know what the best part is? We started November last week. Or yesterday we started November, and so I get to do a whole new November, and I'm so excited. I loved the fact that I had a clean November, you know. So for November, I've only filled in my lives and my Monday morning motivations. So that's that. And then these are my November tasks that I like, basically bills that are due, shipping dates, and any appointments that I already knew I had that I transferred over from the future log that I already had for November, right? So I took everything that was in my future log from November and I put it on my task here. That's very important. So I put the date, I'm backwards. So, but what I didn't do yet, because I was in Philly yesterday, what I didn't do, which I will be doing this week, is taking the task from my October, and anything that I didn't, this is very important, anything that I didn't cross off or finish. So this is my October so there's my trackings and all that, you know, my water and everything, and my sleep. I love tracking my sleep, watching my sleep, how many hours of sleep I'm having, and I need to do a lot better. I need to do a lot better than that. I get an average of 5 or 6, and then once I was mindful of the 4 to 6 hours sleep I was getting, I started increasing it, and now I'm at 7 and 8, and so that's been really good, and I've seen a huge difference. So that's why we track, right? And only track things that are important to you that you know you'll keep up with. Calendar has an overview, then areas to write what's going on with bullet pages on the right. Oh, that's awesome. So you picked that kind of a way. That's amazing. What else? So, the important thing is, so make sure you take the things and you review your October tasks that you deemed important, and you migrate what you didn't accomplish and put it into the November, migrate it to the November, and what you change your mind, if it's no longer important to you, then cross it off. You don't need it. They weren't serving you, so you're no longer pursuing it. Cross it off and don't migrate it. But if you think it's so important, then migrate it. And that's the thing. So make sure that when you end, that everything in October got managed. You've settled with it. You've either moved it, or you've either crossed it off because you did it, or you transferred over into November. So I have to do that. I have to finish migrating that. And then once I do that, so I will be complete, and I will be into my new November. So my November is my dailies. I like my dailies. I write my goals, my gratitude, 5 things I'm grateful for every single day. And then my 10 goals that I want to pursue in the next 10 years. They're the same goals I write over and over again. I put the star and the star is on my health one. And that's the one I'm pursuing these October, November, December. So these last 3 months of the year. And then next year I'll be pursuing the number 4, which is now ideally you want to focus on the one until you get the goal, and then you move on to the next one. But I will be pursuing this one for a while, but I'm going to move on to the next one as my main thing because I want to write. So my next, that's why I'm focusing hard on my health and getting my 5 habits good. The one tip that I'm doing this for November that I'm super excited about, so I have my regular black pen that I do everything in. I've incorporated a blue pen that goes in my pouch, a blue pen that I'm going to do everything that has to do with the VK shop is going to be in blue. So I think that's going to help it visually draw it out to me. So today, when I when I go into my Sunday and list all the things I'm going to do, I'm going to film the Mary pattern tutorial in this blue pen, and hopefully that'll help stand it out and visually, because I've been migrating it over and over again. But I want to take care of it. Seriously, guys. I feel like I need to get slapped in the hand about this. To sit down and do recording of this and get it and do this tutorial. So that's that. And then I want to post every day. So I want to be more active on social media, Instagram, and then I have an app that floods it to the other social media platforms. Except I have to still post it on Patreon. I still have to post it on YouTube individually, because if this and that does not apply to that. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my, I don't know how we got into bullet journal. Oh, because Ellie was talking about it. So I want to spend the last 10 minutes talking about Election Day on Tuesday, because we have to vote. We get to vote. We get to choose. Remember, choice is your superpower. I just realized I had that with that post this morning, like what you don't change, you choose. If you don't change something, you chose it. So if you don't like something and you haven't changed it, or you're not in pursuit of changing what you don't like, then you're choosing it. Okay? And choice is our superpower. It is our superpower. And of course, Election Day is coming up. And I just became a citizen a couple of years ago. And so this right to choose is a citizen of the United States. I've been here a long time. I've been here since I was 6 years old. I've just been a legal resident and a permanent resident, but I was too afraid to take the citizenship test, because I had it blown up in my head that it was just going to be this big, this big challenge. And so I never took the citizenship test until a couple of years ago. And my model and I did it together. We held each other's hands and we went together. And luckily, we had the same appointment times, and that we were able to travel to Philly together to get it done. But so now we're citizens, and then we get to vote, And so the one thing that everybody always asks me, because I don't want to get political. I'm not political, I'm not. And it does, Kathy, it does start at the local level. And that's why I'm like, when I first learned about this whole voting thing, like, I'm like, okay, you vote for the president. The president was the first thing I got to vote for, and that was important. But local is the big thing, because that's where you can change, where you're in your area, in your community. That's what's seeing the change. It's not the federal, it's not the bigger beast, it's your local. Like, this is where it's like, it's equivalent to, do you have the power to change your neighborhood or your household? Well, no, your household is your, you know what I mean? You have the biggest power in your household to change. And within your household, how about yourself? Do you have the power to change your family or yourself? You know what I mean? So the smaller you can change, the better. So you start off with being your best self. You influence your family. You take care of your household. You take care of your neighborhood. You take care of your community. And then you take care of your township. You take care of your state. And then you take care of the United States. And then you take care of the world outside of the United States. Like, that is the power of our choices, of our lives. You know what I mean? You don't ignore yourself, and you take care of the you know what I mean, of the country half across the world. Like, but so those are the little nesting grounds that we're at. So here we are, Tuesday, gonna listen and gotta go soon. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for joining. So on Tuesday, so everybody asked me, who are you gonna vote for? And the only thing I ever say is, whoever is pro-life. I look for pro-lifers. You want to know why? Because if a human being does not value your most innocent life, if we're killing our own children, if we're allowing the murdering of our own children by the stroke of a pen, we don't value life. That person does not value life. And if they don't value that life, if they don't value that most innocent life, our own children, then do you think they will value the middle age? Do you think they will value the education of the first graders, the elementary schools? Do you think they will value your elders? If they don't value the most innocent, precious life, the unborn children, if they don't see that as a valuable commodity into the world, do you think that politician is going to value your first grader, your teenager, your life, your paychecks? Do you think they're going to value your mother's Social Security? Do you think they're going to value your grandfather's, you know what I mean, healthcare? Like, it starts right there. It starts right there, beginning of life. And that's where I vote. That's where I vote. You know what I mean? That's where I vote. And so it's important. I'm not saying it to force you guys to do anything. I'm just reminding you, Tuesday's election day, and get out there and vote, guys. You know? And for somebody who has been in this country for a long, long time and didn't have that right to vote, I finally made this choice to to be proactive and responsible for my choices and apply for citizenship, and so that I could have this beautiful privilege to vote. I get excited about it, and then and so that's why I was like, when I had to learn about, I have to do that research on that Mercy's Law, because to give victims more rights, it sounds very pretty on the upfront, but if that means if that ultimately means that I have the power to say something that didn't happen without any proof, then we're walking on some serious, dangerous grounds here. Dangerous grounds. And so nobody should have more right than the other person. Everybody should have equal rights. You know what I mean? I was just talking to my mastermind right before this, and I was like, I hate the way they talk about, you know, like when they say it's like a hate crime, or like they say it's like a gang crime or a hate crime or something kind of crime. And I'm like, a crime is a crime, people. A crime is a crime. And if you're doing a crime, you're expressing hate. It doesn't make it, you know, hate crimes don't make it any more special. It doesn't make it any more like being explicitive. I need to figure out a way to talk about that. This word, do you guys know what an explicitive means? Like to look up what the word explicitive means. I learned this concept from Girl Stop Apologizing, when she asked, like, you know, when we talk about girl boss, and how she was like, when we first heard the phrase girl boss, it was very, but do you know what it means to have an explicitive? Like, an explicitive is a description on top of, right? So like, to have, like, do you think being a girl boss is, because it's got the explicitive girl in it, do you think girl boss is more powerful than a boss because she's a girl? No. What that does is adding an explicitive onto you it's a limiting belief. It's a limiting belief. Being like, you know, yeah, she can throw, but for a girl. Yeah, she can run, but for a girl. Do you know what I mean? That's what a girl runner is. That's what a woman's basketball team is. That's what you know what I mean? That's what an Asian math league is. Like, it's a limiting, you know what I mean? Explicitive is a limiting thing. And so I have to figure out a way to translate this thought and be more to be more educating or something about it, because I just think that we sit here and like just look at like in the knit crochet world, in this community, this whole diversity talk and this whole BIPOC and this Black people of Indigenous people, I think, like, to learn all this stuff. Like, I'm just like, when you, it's not empowering when you put, an explicitive onto something, a description. It's not empowering. All it did is limits you. You know what I mean? What's true for one person should be true for all people. You know what I mean? If you're a great boss, you're a great boss. Not for a girl. You know what I mean? Not because you're a girl, like a boss. That's a huge thing. A leader is a leader, not a female leader. Like, if anybody ever, so say on the 10 years from now, my book gets big, my idea gets big, this movement to be original, to dare to be original, to pursue our dreams. If I have a successful career in this dream that I have, right? The last thing I want to hear is somebody saying to me, oh, there's an Asian leader. For an Asian? No, I want to just lead. I want you guys to be your best selves, period. I don't want to be a female Asian leader. Do you think that's going to help? You know what I mean? Like, do you think she's the first female Asian leader? Like that doesn't empower. All it did was, I just want to be a great leader. I want to just know that I've worked my rear end off to be the best version of myself. And then I've spent all my energy trying to help people be the best version of themselves. That is my goal. That is my dream. You know what I mean? And the last thing I want 10 years from now is for somebody to say, no, there's a great Asian, a great female Asian leader. No, I just want to be a great leader. You put any expletives on top of me, it limits me. And now it's like, it puts me in a little corner. It puts me in a little box. That's what I'm saying about that. Like, it's not empowering. I don't know how to share that message. I don't know how to verbally express that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So when people talk about like hate crimes, and I'm just like, no, all crimes are hateful. It's a crime. A crime is a freaking crime. You know what I mean? And it's against the law, and it should be dealt with appropriately. Not any more, not any less. It is a crime. But that's that. I don't even know how we got in this tangent. Probably gonna lose some subscribers on top of this. Indy, will you get them back for me so they don't leave me all together? Indy wants to say goodbye, you guys. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for not making me chat with myself for an hour. Good luck, Kathy, with your customer service and to getting your streaming back on course so you can work out and be your best self. Good luck, Ellie, with your Bujo and getting your life together, and with your Etsy shop. And now I gotta go see what happened to the ball, Bob. Bob, your brother doesn't have it. What happened to your ball? Let's go show Daddy that we found the red ball. You ready? All right, guys, have an amazing week. Go vote. Choice is your superpower. You should make that let's make that into a sticker. Choice is your superpower, guys. Don't waste it. God bless. Until next week. Bye.